Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to do is that I thought I would take a look at the top watchmakers and try to find what was the lowest price that I could find on all of these different watches. Now, I got to tell you right off the bat is that most of these I can't afford, and most of the people I know who collect watches can't afford them either. But it's good to know these things. Maybe someone will come along with one that we can't afford. And so anyway, I picked 11. These are identified with specific watchmakers as opposed to more general ones. There's some really excellent watchmakers, of course, like Audemars Piguet and Vacheron Constantin, Alanga, and so forth, but we're not sure who the watchmaker is. So anyway, so these are ones that are to sort of look and we can't afford, but you never know. Something may come along, or you may see one of these at a really good price, and you'll have a better sense of it. Okay, the first one is the Bethune, the DB22. I found one on the 1916 site for about $30, $29,950, and where it has next to it, it says "make offer." That was what the ad said. So I have to tell you, if you don't make an offer, you usually pay too much, period. Even if they reject it, you should. I recommend always doing it. Okay, we got a lot to go here, so let's take a look at the next one. Roman Gauthier. Now, the best deal I could find on this, the best offer, was $37,950, which again is way more than I can afford, but God, do I love this watch. I know, even though it's a 28,800 semi-oscillations per hour, 4 hertz, which I like the lower ones, but this one I like. His stuff I like a whole lot. A big hunk of these is owned by Chanel, and the Chanel Monsieur, which I'm lucky enough to get my mitts on, has a movement with the parts by Romain Gauthier, and a lot of that movement it's called the Caliber 1 was made by. That was as close as I could get to this, but oh boy, do I like his stuff. Is so fantastic. This watch is called the C, like C, the letter C. Okay. This next one is by Greubel Forsey, which I did another watch brand that oh boy, I wish I had this. The Greubel Forsey, the Balancier Convex S2 Titanium. I found one of these on Chrono 24 for $163,710. No time soon I'm going to be able to afford this. But, if one you happen to come across one, they are really amazing watches. By the way, just about all of these guys that I'm looking at have won Grand Prix awards of one sort or another. Now, this next one is by the Grffnefeld Brothers, the 1941 Principia. If you go to their site, they say, sorry, we're all sold out, or you get on a waiting list or something. Some of their waiting lists, I think, are sold out. Anyway, I found this one on eBay, $34,450. Again, this has something, or make an offer. This is on eBay. The Caliber G06, 3 hertz, I like that. 56-hour reserve. Beautiful, beautiful horology on all of their watches. Okie doke, moving right along. This next one by Marco Lang. Marco Lang is, if someone said, who are the tip-top watchmakers, it would include Marco Lang. He is fantastic. Now, I think he left a company he started called Lang & Heim in 2019 and started his own company called Marco Lang Watches. And so the first watch he came out with was one that I couldn't pronounce, but this watch is amazing, called the Zyversich 1. It's a flip-over watch. Caliber ML1, Marco Lang 01, first caliber, 3 hertz, 70 hours reserve. This watch is a 57,000 euro. Now that's I think in steel. They have a couple other ones I think in gold and platinum too. But wow, this is a heck of a watch. I would really love to have this watch. Now, one way, sort of a back door to if you want to get something by Marco Lang, if you look in the used watch market for a Langenheim, just about every single one of the movements that are still at Langenheim were by Marco Lang. One I found, it's called the Johann, and it's at Langenheim. But on eBay I found one for $19,749. Manual wind, 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour, 46-hour reserve. Now the Caliber 1 was the first one that he made for his own, when it was his own company, because it's called Langenheim. I have the Caliber 6, which is and the Friedrich 2 from Langenheim that I got before he left. So this is a real gold mine for any watch collection. I know 19,740. That is not a bargain, but it is for a Marco Lang watch. Okay, off we go. Now, this was one of the most surprising things I found. Here is the FP Journe Chronometre Souverain in rose gold. Caliber 1304, manual wind, 3 hertz, 2 barrels in parallel. That's what I really, really like. And that's a piece of good constant force horology. Now this is a place called Jazz Time, and I found one for $49,299 new. There's always this little thing that says this depends whether we have these in stock or not. If you're interested, I did not find one that was anywhere near this price. Most of them were at least $10,000 or more expensive. The Caliber 1304 has gold plates and bridges. This is sort of an interesting thing. Not gold plated, but solid gold. What a watch. My own has been a wonderful companion. One of the things I found that's sort of interesting, one of the most popular watches of these top watchmakers, you'll find more of these. You'll find FP Journe watches. Great watches, love them. Okay, this next one is Laurent Ferrier. Here's another watch brand by a top watchmaker who also used to be a race car driver, raced in the races where in the Monaco or Monte Carlo. Really an interesting guy. The Caliber LF 116.01. Now the best deal I could find on this one was $27,450. I found it on eBay, make offer. Of course, like I said, if you're going to buy a watch and they say make offer, make an offer. If you make them on Chrono 24, you put it down lower, you'll get a little notice. So that's a lot lower than they want. Are you sure you want to make that offer? I would say yes. And sometimes I get it, so it never hurts. And what are they going to do? Say no, we want more? Well, okay. Okay, and again, these are your really top watchmakers. Now, this one, more and more people have begun to discover Bernhard Lederer. He's just really an outstanding watchmaker. He won a prize recently for the best chronometer. This one, the Central Impulse Chronometer, $153,600. That's a lot. A place called Rostovsky Watches has one. I couldn't find them. They're almost impossible to find these watches. Really top-notch watches. The prices are sky high. This is earlier in another video. Bernhard Lederer has this sort of a sub-company called BLU for Bernhard Lederer Universal, where you can find a lot of watches that are much less expensive. I mean, you know, like under $5,000. But they usually don't have a Bernhard Lederer movement, but they have one that he worked on with him. So, I mean, that's sort of a poor man's back door for these. In other words, us, or at least me. Okay, yes, this one is amazing. Andreas Strehler is a guy who's added more talent in places that we don't know about. A lot of his movements or movements he helped put together are by Andreas Strehler. And what he decided to do, he decided to have a watch, an entry-level watch, for, I'll call it the rest of us, 20,000 Swiss francs. Now, this is new from the manufacturer. There's about a 1-year waiting list. If you order one, I think there's a 10% down. This is a great watch. It has a Haas hairspring in it. Is a German hairspring maker that's really a very good one. Caliber SA30, it's automatic. Most of Andreas Strehler's are hand wound, but this one is for more of like, actually has, you know, sort of a practical everyday gorgeous watch. I just love this watch. Anyway, so it's called the Journe. Now there's two. They really have two companies. One's called Strehler as a brand, and the other one's called Andreas Strehler. The ones at Andreas Strehler are pretty high. The Journe is the first of a series that he's making that are considered more affordable. The interesting thing about this watch, F.P. Journe, about 10 years ago or so, probably more than that now, had introduced the Chronometre Blue as an entry level, and it was about the same price back then. Now they're the same exact watches are $100,000 or something. They're really gone nuts, and I think it was the same idea that F.P. Journe had. Well, we got to have something for the entry level guys, and that was how it came up with it was not the Chronometre Sylvain, but the blue, which was made of tantalum rather than precious metals. But this one's made of steel. Yum, yum, yum. Nice watch. Okie doke. This next watch is a guy whose stuff I really like. Well, like I said, he's won a lot of Grand Prix awards for one thing or the other. Armin Strom. We had talked about a number of these sort of a bargain things I found. I found another one. This is an unusual place. There's a place called the Real, where people sell all kinds of stuff. It's more like sort of luxury item yard sale called the Real. I found this one was listed for $59.95 for an Armin Strom. This was like really a good deal. A Regulator Earth. He had these things called Earth, Water, and Sky, I think. He liked to use that a lot. You can get an idea of what the movement is, but really very interesting watch, and an extremely good price for a watch at this level. Now, the final one I want to talk about is another one I lust after. Just love this watch. This is the Bethune Vinge 8. Caliber 28, manual wind, 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour, 65-hour power reserve. This is the best deal I could find. This is not the lowest Vinge 8. This is the lowest one I could find, period. $145,000. Originally, when this came out, and this is on Chrono 24, so it's probably, well, in fact, I'm pretty sure it is. It's a used one, pre-owned. Originally, when they came out with this, and again, this was about 10 years ago, they were half this price. They're in the $70,000. Look at the size. I don't know if you can see it or not, but look at the size of that balance. I love big balance wheels. I love the lower frequency rate. Anyway, so now I just want to look at these watches not so much say, oh, hey, let's all run out and buy one, because I can't afford it. Maybe you can, but I can't. But if I could find one of these, if one of these crosses my path, that somebody, oh boy, they need money right away, they'll take a good price on it. Otherwise, you can still learn stuff from them. I mean, it's like one of the ways I got really into really excellent horology was that I found watches that top watchmakers like Jean-Marc Lederer, who was the 2007, the very first watchmaker to win the Grand Prize Horologie de Genève for Watchmaker of the Year. His stuff is fantastic, but they're in watches that not everybody sees as valuable. And so by knowing about these guys, it's important. By the way, too, Bethune and Lana and some of these other guys have paired up or teamed up with somebody else like Eberhard, and they'll come out with watches that are by both of them. It's sort of, though, I mean, that are very, relatively speaking, very affordable, but they don't have the horology by the top watchmaker. They'll have a Solita or something like that in them, and then they do the dial design or something. It's like Jaime Asoka, who's another just fabulous watchmaker, who I can't afford. Anyway, I would really like to hear from you, what you think. If you have any of these, really like to hear what you think of them. And this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.